I think that's the biggest challenge that you can face, the family synergy. And saying that, I feel that this is going to be the biggest challenge Cyprus is going to face. I feel that the tourist industry is the backbone of the economy in Cyprus. And everything starts from us. Whether they like it or not, everything starts from us. Nothing can beat experience.
It's true.
Nothing. And the experience is you're getting it also by making bad decisions.
I'm Farah Shammas. Welcome to Hotel Talk. We hope you enjoy listening to this friendly conversation between people connected by real life in hotels. Welcome back to Hotel Talk, and today I've really got a hotelier with us. He is the managing director of GrandResort, which is our neighbour here at San Rafael Resort, Mr. Haris Theoharous.
Hello, Farah. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you for the invite.
It's my pleasure. And I should tell everyone before they listen to this, Haris and I are very good friends. We've been friends for many, many years. So we're going to have fun now on this podcast.
Exactly.
Haris, I want to start at the beginning, but not your beginning, your dad's beginning, and really go back to his background, how he became what he was, and why did he decide to build a hotel? How did he get into that idea? And then it developed into what was originally Hawaii Hotel,
Yes.
and then became GrandResort.
It's still the company is still Hawaii Hotels Limited.
Yeah,
So
the holding company. Yeah,
So the name is still there.
still there.
But then the hotel changed from Hawaii Beach to GrandResort.
Yeah,
Actually, the reason that it's Hawaii is because that was how my father started with flowers. So Hawaii, flowers, it had a connection there.
Yeah.
And that was a long time ago, before the invasion, because we're coming from Famagusta. So saying that, he started with flower shops, and he had very, very huge gardens in Famagusta, which are now deserted. And actually, there was a funny story because after the invasion, the actual some Turkish Cypriots, they communicated with my dad to explain to them how to continue and cultivate flowers.
wow.
Yes.
They got in touch with him.
Yeah, they got in touch with him.
And how did your dad feel about that?
He didn't feel very good about it. Anyways, okay. And he was also dealing with real estate, again, before the invasion. And during...
And you were born in Famagusta.
I was born in 72, just before the invasion. During that period, because I think the first entrepreneurs were coming from Famagusta, because Famagusta had the port, a very big port. It could
all the
do
commercial
a lot
activity.
of trade, yes. So the first money that he made, let's say, everything was going into land. They were investing into land. And that's because it was a virgin place, it had a lot of potential anyways. And the hotel industry actually also commenced from Famagusta, if I may say so,
Well, I think you're right. I mean, it's there. It's in the history books.
I mean, even if you look at it even now, you can understand how developed Famagusta was.
And even at the time, I can't remember the names now, but they were famous. Tourism wasn't really here, and yet we had already started to get really famous people coming to Famagusta.
Of course. I mean, I know from my parents, Sean Connery used to come. Brigitte Barton used to come. I mean, Brigitte Barton made Saint-Tropez. She was going to Saint-Tropez. She was coming to Famagusta. So imagine also the potential that Famagusta had. Yes. Okay, after the invasion, we resided to Limassol. And then
had your dad bought any land in Limassol
no,
at that point?
No, at that point, and at that point, Limassol was tiny.
It was a village.
Really,
I mean,
yes.
let's be honest.
I remember that.
it wasn't a big.
Where you have the Gyan
factory
now, it used to have a sign saying that Limassol welcomes you.
Yeah. And I remember the stories people were saying when they got to Ghan, they would say, we're nearly in Limassol. It wasn't even considered,
When San Rafael, when was San Rafael built?
The Marina 86 and the Hotel 87.
Okay. We had the land where the GrandResort is now, and the land, my dad bought it long time before he started building the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good visionary, my father.
Yeah.
He was always looking ahead. You know that we had horses.
I know.
Yes,
Yeah.
we had horses. So imagine how far out
it was.
Yes.
And also like how it was considered not prime. I mean, it was this amazing plot on the beach and your horses were there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was like, it was the...
We had them there because it was in the summer due to the fact that the sea is very good for the horses.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's healing for the horses. Anyway, so after the invasion, he continued again with the flowers. And then he moved into construction and developing. He started, I think our first buildings were where is the St. Mary's School, just behind that. And slowly and steadily he grew. And eventually, and this is not only in Cyprus, this is a worldwide phenomenon, a lot of people that they are in construction and they are in developing, eventually, somehow they end up building a hotel. I think maybe it's the elevation or it's like a landmark of their achievement. I don't know, something like that.
I think so, because it's something very visible and tangible and very ostentatious. So it really is like that you made it.
Yes,
I think so.
Exactly. I mean, and if you want to talk about a little bit about the history of the hotel industry, this is how it became a hotel industry, because a lot of people migrated from Europe to America. And these people, they used to work for the aristocrats, especially people that they had titles like lords, duchess, dukes, and all this. So if you take the professions that exist in a hotel and the hotel departments, these are actually the work that these immigrants, let's say, used to perform for their bosses. Yes. So you had, you were going with your wagon outside the palace, let's say. So you had somebody to...
A doorman, a porter.
That was a porter, a valet, And you had the chambermaids. You had the housekeeper at that time. Maybe she was the GM of what we have today in the hotels. So these people, when they made their money in the States, they had to have these places that they could go and enjoy what they were doing for others, And this is how the hotel started to being built. And this is how also we got the various terms, professions in the hotels, because of that's where it started.
And of course, people can entertain. A lot of people invest in hotels just like they do a super yacht or a yacht or a plane, because they can invite that prospective business partner and say, why don't you have a coffee, or why don't you stay in my establishment? And that for them is worth more than the revenue they're going to get.
So, you build the hotel and you do your other business as well. Through the hotel. Anyway, so eventually he built the hotel, which opened its doors in 92. And then in the beginning, he was in close, let's say, the managing director of the hotel. At a certain point, it was my brother, while I was studying. And I decided myself to get into the industry. So I graduated from Roches in Switzerland. Then I attended also Cornell University. And I worked in various places. I worked in Davos, in St. Moritz, in Dusseldorf, New York, and Santa Barbara. All luxury hotels, because that's where I wanted to focus on. And eventually I came back and I took over the hotel jointly with my sister as well.
Jointly.
My sister, she's she's more into finance. but she's responsible also for the whole group. Whereas I am focused on Hawaii Hotels Limited.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about that. You've already answered loads of questions that I have here for you, which is great. But how is the dynamic, which I'm also in that as well, with a family business, and balancing, and you guys are really close as a family, but how do you keep that balance? Because, there's several of you who know about hotels or business. How do you then decide who goes into what? How do you balance it? And
I think that's the biggest challenge that you can face, the family synergies. And saying that, I feel that this is going to be the biggest challenge Cyprus is going to face in the near future, if not facing it currently.
In what respects? Yeah.
If you take, I will say 80% of the businesses in Cyprus are family businesses. That's why lately we see many conferences, many even big firms focusing on succession. So family grows, the members of the family grow, and that's a big challenge. And I think the biggest challenge is to what you have already mentioned, who is going to do what. And not too many family members can be in the same business or in the same, let's say, even area.
Yeah. And who's most capable, and how do you arrange that?
I'm sure that when it comes to your children, you think that they are the brightest people in the world. So sometimes it's not even the awareness is a little bit shady about the capability of the members, of the family members.
Yeah. Well, and so many other things play into the dynamic. There's many families who they have a soft spot for one child, or they believe incorrectly that another one, or they want to boost one because they know their capabilities are not as much. So the one who is more capable sometimes gets left behind.
Exactly.
There's so many.
I think there is also another big
ego.
challenge.
An ego plays a big role.
And age. Age plays a significant role.
You mean who's oldest and who's youngest? Yeah.
Before it used to be even worse because you had also the male-female.
Yeah.
I think
scenarios.
Yes, I think that now is faded. So there is equal opportunity between.
In some cases, not in all. Yeah.
Yes, but they're not.
Yeah.
Okay, in Cyprus, it depends also on the woman, how she sees her life, or how she believes that she can manage, or what she wants to do. But it's not going to be an obstacle, I believe, an obstacle because of her gender.
Yeah.
If it's a male or a female. I think it's getting much better.
It is definitely much better. I won't say we're completely there yet. I mean, I laugh, especially with one friend of mine who had 2 girls as well. I've got 2 girls. And when I was pregnant with both my girls, in both cases, when I said, I'm having a girl, there were several people who told me Embirazi. Which means, you don't speak Greek, it means never mind. You can try again later.
Yes.
Well, it's a shame, never mind. So yeah, we do laugh about that.
But it's much better.
It is.
Better.
It definitely is. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So you went to 2 of the best hotel schools in the world, I think it's fair to say. Obviously, you learned a lot about hotels, but what else did you learn? Like, what else did that teach you? Because we've said this before in this podcast, hotels teach us so much about life. I mean, it is life in a microcosm. So what did you get from these amazing university experiences?
It's not only the when you are in this industry, because also in Switzerland you have to be at school 6 months and then you work 6 months, and which is great. I believe that this is a brilliant system.
Yeah, your stage.
Yes, you can make your stage, and then you do 1 year management. Most of the schools are pretty much in the same alignment. Yes. Hotels as such, and this industry as such, I think is the most exciting industry in the world. You don't have a same day. Never, ever.
Absolutely. Never.
Never. You have so many challenges. Even that's even if you take our accounting system, it's different than any other industry you can imagine. We have the uniform system of accounts because we have many departments. So it's like you have one business, one place, but inside that place, you have another 15. I mean, this is how. So it's a very challenging profession. But this profession, the problem is that it can burn you out. It can make you very tired. It can make you lose your social life, your friends, because it's many hours. And I say that sometimes I feel it's like a vacuum cleaner. It drags you, and then because you get so much used to it, you forget other parts of your life.
Yeah, it makes you lose sight sometimes.
Yeah, you lose sight, yes. And especially even with your own family. So you have to be careful. You have to be very careful because once that happens, you are also, you lose sometimes also your vision because you have so many things, so many challenges to face on a daily basis that you become a little bit narrow-minded.
I think sometimes it can draw you, as you said, actually, it's a good analogy, the vacuum cleaner, because it can suck you in so deep that especially us as, let's say, the leaders of our companies, we start getting into the nitty-gritty and start getting into the business and we don't stay on the business.
Yes. So you have to be very careful.
You have to be careful,
And delegation is of utmost importance. If you don't delegate in this business, first of all, I don't think you will last. Second, you will lose sight of anything else that exists out there. And also your performance will not be that high because we have to be very careful as owners. You have to be very careful.
Well, I remember us once talking about it years ago. I can't remember where we were, either your hotel or here. And someone asked us, like, oh, why don't you guys just live in your, in your hotels and you're here all the time anyway? And especially before we were married as well, we'd be like in the hotel until midnight or, and then I remember, I think you answered, but I think it was you. You said, yeah, and then I'll just throw my mobile away as well. Forget I have any life, any friends, because that's, it's true. It's it's an amazing job, but it's definitely. We talked about burnout with Nicolas Gidis and I think Sagis as well on 2 episodes of Hotel Talk already. And
Sagis from the back?
But no, Sagis Ioannou, who used to be our F&B manager.
Okay, all right.
Just how difficult it is and how once you enter that really dark place, you can become so bitter and just spiral really out of control. So you have to be
business because, like, for instance, you might have let's say 700 people staying in your place, and you have one that can ruin your day. Yeah.
You have to really work hard at it.
It's there is a lot of satisfaction as well. There is a lot of adrenaline boost as well, but it's a greedy business. When it comes to
and everyone's demanding. And everyone's demanding. Like everybody, they're the center of their world, rightly so. They're here. They've used their hard-earned money to come. But they forget that there's so many other people and they want their time. I always laugh, like people come on a weekend and they just assume that you'll be here, whether that's the manager or us, or they call and they're like, "Aren't you in the hotel?" And you're like, "Well, no, it's 11 o'clock on Saturday." But
if you go to somebody's office, you're gonna make an effort to go to the office. You're gonna call first. For us, you just go to the reception, say, Farah is in. Yeah, it's
so.
Can you please? I just want to say hi.
Exactly.
But then, hi, but you're on holidays, I'm not.
And exactly. And unfortunately, like 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, half an hour there, and your day just goes.
Many
crazy.
times it happened to me with people that they come to the bar, and they will see you, after a couple of days or a week's time, and they say, "Oh, I was at your place the other day, but you were not in."
And they're
said,
shocked.
yes, where were you? Hey, it was 11:30. I came to have a drink at the bar. I say, oh, okay, sorry, I have to sleep.
You have
also."
to sleep sometimes. Yeah, exactly. So how did you decide? So you've told us, okay, your story. It's obvious that you love hotels, and we've touched on it now. Hotels is a lifestyle.
Yes.
It's not a job; it's a lifestyle. But how did you decide? I mean, okay, your dad had a hotel, he built a hotel, you grew up with it, but you could have done anything. So why did you decide that this is for you and this is the path you wanted to go down?
I think it just happened, and I was always going to, since I was a kid, I used to visit Switzerland quite a lot with my mother.
Mm.
Petros Freifel,
Yeah.
La Maison du Vin.
Mm-hmm.
He's my godbrother.
Yeah.
So we were very close. And visiting Switzerland for the summer, for vacation, knowing that this country, which I loved, has this, is very well known about the hotel management schools. And this is how it started.
Okay.
On top of this, my father started building the hotel as well. So it made also more meaning.
Yeah.
This attraction I had with Switzerland, with the hotel schools, and with this lifestyle.
Mm.
So my sister helped me. We started searching where to go and how, and because I had the army, so it was winter badge. Yeah. Yes, I was gonna
2 more years added on to school. Yeah,
and I didn't, because I went as a winter batch, so I went in January.
Ah, okay.
Yes, because I was in the army until let's say October.
I know, 26 months
Yes,
then.
and,
Yeah.
In Switzerland, you start earlier. It's
September. Yeah,
yes,
usually.
no, actually, it's January. When you start January, you finish May.
Okay. Yes, because it's like the half years.
Yes,
yeah.
because it's 6 months and
6
then
months,
6 months. And then it's 1 month,
Yeah.
and then you start. There is the other batch.
You can tell I didn't go to Switzerland.
Yes, but you did that. You went to Cornell, right?
So I for a professional certificate.
Yeah,
not
to
for
do the PDP program. I mean, you have
Yeah.
to be qualified anyway.
Yes,
so
true. Yeah, I
is
did
not-
that. I got two
And it's
two
very-
certificates from
and
Cornell.
it's very antagonistic also, this PDP
Yeah.
program, because they are all they have a high level, let's
Yeah,
say. So
yeah,
the
yeah.
environment is much
Yeah, it was
different.
really nice. It was good. Yeah, no, my sister went to Glion.
Okay.
And I think because I saw that, I was like, no, I'm good. I don't want to go to Switzerland. And at the time, they weren't doing bachelors, and I wanted a bachelor's. And then I'd been at boarding school for 6 years. And so I just felt that was, Switzerland was like
It's
was
a
an extension of that.
continuation,
Yeah.
yes.
So because I felt I've done it. I was like, I've done the uniform.
helped me
I've
a
done.
lot.
Yeah. Maybe I just felt that I'd completed that cycle of my life on that very strict thing. So I wanted a uni life. So yeah, I did my studies in England instead. But
It's funny when you said boarding school, because I used to make bets with myself when I was meeting people, both, especially in the States. I was making a bet with myself whether this person attended a boarding school or not.
how funny. Were you right usually?
95% of the time.
How could you tell? Secret.
I
Normally,
do this also with the hotel guests.
I think they're. I think we also discussed that on this podcast with Craig, because he was at boarding school and he said he really hated it, didn't do him any good. Okay, I didn't love every part of it, but okay, I've survived it. But I read a stat somewhere that I think if you've attended boarding school, you're 50% more likely to be a depressive. So I was like, oh, great. Well, I hope I'm in the the good 50%. Okay, and then so your dad, I know from you from years ago. I mean, amazing man, very strong, very charismatic. He influenced you a lot. Tell us a little bit about that, about growing up with such a figure, because it is. I mean, I know that as well. When you come from a family where there's very highly respected parents, grandparents, and sometimes in a shadow, in a good way, in a bad way? Like how did that help shape you? And also your mom, your beautiful mom's influence as well.
Well, my mom was always a little bit the balance of the family, because she had a very strong personality, and also in terms of achievement, a self-made man, since he was, very young, because my father was a successful businessman before the invasion.
Yeah. And then had to do it again.
Yes. And then he had to restart, So I think when you do it, also the people that went through the invasion, they became also a bit, let's say, harder,
Yeah, they had thicker skins.
Yes.
They lost it all. They had to do it again.
Exactly. So I could, let's say, split the relationship with my dad in 3 stages.
Okay.
The first one was when I was a kid. We were very close.
Until
very,
what age?
Very close. I think until 12, 11, 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And we used to do many things, although he was a very busy man. But every Sunday it was, we will go together to the farm. We will go together to the gardens. We will go together to the buildings, to the construction sites. We were very close. My teenage years were very difficult. So we had a very conflict. It was a very big conflict between us.
Which is also quite normal psychologically for many fathers and sons.
I was also creating my own personality, going a little bit, drifted
Rebelling.
away. Yes, I was a rebel anyways. After, we also, the friction was, it lasted a bit longer than what it should. And eventually we came close again. I think, and especially when my dad got, when he had the cancer, he was sick for about quite some time. But again, he showed how I will say, the way that he viewed his sickness and the way that he fought his sickness showed also again his spirit and his quality as a man, and why he did what he did in his life, because he really, really fought. He should have, I think, when the first time that he was, he went to Mayo Clinic, and we all thought that he wouldn't even have a year. And then we continued the treatments in Germany. And one thing that I talked with him when he was, because when I stayed, we used to change, let's say, shifts with my siblings, because he stayed there. First time he did almost 2 months. So I used to go away.
In Germany?
Yes, in Germany, in Bielefeld. So then my brother, then my sister, then again, and I think that period was the best period I had with my dad.
Amazing.
The synergies changed. Our conversations were different.
Maybe deeper. The barriers dropped.
Yes, I think so.
And ego had less to do with it.
Once you reach that, he was also in a different mode, And I think he viewed life a bit different. So, again, I will say that I'm a very lucky man.
Definitely, with both your parents.
Yes.
And I know your dad loved you a lot, and you loved him. And your mummy, she's amazing.
Yeah, she still is.
She still is,
one of a kind,
And she's looking younger all the time.
She's 80 years old.
I saw her a few weeks ago. I was like, what? I nearly didn't recognize her.
She had a kind of operation last week. So I picked her up in the morning. I took her to the clinic to perform the surgery. And the doctor told her it was Thursday. So the doctor thought you shouldn't drive until Saturday. From that moment, her only, let's say, worry was because she wouldn't be able to drive. This is how active she is.
Yeah.
You cannot, she's an independent spirit, my mom,
My husband always says, can't keep a good woman down.
No.
It's amazing. And you said balance. And I've also got here, how did your beautiful mom balance this? Because that's, I think, that's her forte. Yeah. So you went into hotels. Thank goodness the tourism industry in Cyprus has you, because you've been amazing, not just in your own part of that, your hotel, but in so much more. You've been in the Hotel Association. Tell us a little bit about that. Why is it important for those who don't know? And what do you actually do within it?
First of all, thank you very much for your kind words, Farah.
But I mean it. I'm nothing if not honest.
Okay, I feel that the tourist industry is the backbone of the economy in Cyprus. And everything starts from us. Whether they like it or not, everything starts from us. And I will say why. If you're going to buy a house, let's say that the second industry is services, and third is services, financial services, and the real estate construction, okay? Both of these industries depend on the tourism. Because if you're going to buy a house, you're going to come to Cyprus, you're going to stay somewhere. Where are you going to stay? To a hotel. If you're going to stay at the hotel, it means that you're going to see how the people treat you. How is the atmosphere? How is the environment? How is the beach? How is the pool? How is the locals? It starts from there.
And how do you get to Cyprus in the first place?
Yes.
With an airplane that comes because people are coming to stay on holidays.
Yes. And why you have the connectivity? Yeah. Because we have the tourism. Yeah. And then again, if you're going to, let's say, set your business hub here in Cyprus, again, you're going to do the same.
Yeah.
And
you need people to come. Yes. Your guests have to stay somewhere.
And not only that, if you're going to have your company here, you need to see the people, you trust them. They're good. They are honest. Can I do business with these people? But you're going to stay somewhere and you're going to experience all this.
Mm-hmm. And ultimately decide, do I like it or not? Do I want this life or not?
Exactly. That's why. And I feel that it's so important. And sometimes you need to remind also governments and authorities and that, and for example, 2013, which industry saved the country? Tourism. In 2013,
when our banks collapsed?
Yes, when the banks collapsed, when the real estate faced huge problems, the industry that was able to restart the economy of Cyprus was tourism, and the hotel industry, to be more specific. And we made it. Of course, during that period, I say that there is a difference with COVID because the planes used to fly. With COVID, they didn't. So 2020 was a different
that was out of our hands, exactly. Yes. Do you think that they, in general, take us more for granted because we're not a movable asset or industry? Like, that's sometimes I wonder, you see other industries and they really put so much emphasis, and I'm not having a dig now at the government or anyone else. I'm just talking very generically. But when you build a hotel, you build it. Like, that's it. You're stuck here. I mean, it's not like you're going to say, that's it. It's a tech industry, or I've got a ship, or I have a service of whatever, and actually I'm going to relocate to Monaco or Dubai. Like, The hotel is here.
But we have one big, huge difference than also all the other industries. If you take your accounting, for example, and you count how many suppliers go through this place in 1 year, it's insane.
Insane. How many people you support indirectly and directly, and how many families.
Exactly. So I believe that the sub-value to the other industries that this industry gives, it's amazing. It's
I
huge.
couldn't agree more.
And sometimes I tell them, okay, you go, you build a construction building, even all these towers that we have now in Limassol and everything else, has nothing to do with us because we are also a manpower industry. You need the hardware and the software is our people. And there is no other industry that
Employs
except
so many.
maybe in the construction business, you employ so many people, but not as much as we do.
Yeah, I still think we have more.
So we are,
and it's more steady.
Yes.
I mean, at the end of the day, whether we've got, 10% occupancy or 100, they're
Yes.
here. They're here.
And if you take for consideration, for example, we are a country of 800, 850 inhabitants. We all depend on the 4 million, food suppliers. And they experienced also, when we were closed due to COVID, things were a whole mess. Because if you need to feed average X amount of people every day. You need to buy
all of the
perishable goods, all the even tangible goods. Even you say, okay, I need beans, garbage bins for the hotel. Yeah, they get 10, 15. For you, it's minimum 300.
Yeah.
To start with.
Yes. Not even. That's like a day's worth. Yeah.
And we have, if you go to services, for example, okay, they have people, okay, not as many as we do. And then what do they buy? Printers, paper, pens, cartridges, yes?
Yeah. And that's it. Yeah, whereas we are, it's crazy. Oh, guys, if you're not in hotels and you see what we pay out,
I did a study in 2013 due to because Troika used to come and we had meetings with them, and IMF. So we needed a lot of times to
the data. You need the data.
So, a hotel with an average of 200 rooms will have an approximate number of suppliers being 250. Maybe from one supplier you just bought the screw once, but you did buy something, average.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's
amazing, the ripple effects.
And I remember when I did the study, I couldn't believe it myself.
Imagine, and you're in it every day. Yeah. I know, sometimes we wake up and we, I don't know, see the real picture. So what is the most interesting part of hotels, in your opinion? You've said, okay, that every day is not the same.
Yes. It depends because a hotelier is not only somebody who owns a 5-star or works in a 5-star hotel. There are 4 stars, there are 3 stars, there are 2 stars.
There's apartments, there's condos.
So, first of all, I think being a hotelier, you have to decide what is your game. And by doing so, is because you feel not only what you're good about to perform your performance, also which way you want to follow because it's so divert our business that you have to find your way. You want which way you want to go. So I will say, for me, the biggest challenge that you face is to be able to satisfy all these different demands because of all these different people you accommodate. And the biggest satisfaction is when you are able to do so. So,
So it's that sense of reward.
Yes, that's the sense of when you when you have people, that they came for a holiday, and you gave them what they came for,
and more,
and more. I think that's the biggest reward and the biggest satisfaction in this business. And saying that is like this. It can happen in a 5-star hotel. It can happen in a 4-star.
And a holiday apartment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is very important.
That's come up as well. Yeah. Before in this podcast, I think it's a recurring point for everyone. And it's why we love what we do. So, oh my goodness, I have so many questions to ask, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. So I want to, I've got 2 more questions to ask. One is, you're a leader. How has your leadership style changed over the years? And the other that I want to end on is funny stories. I already know some of your funny stories in GrandResort, or what was once called Hawaii. But let's start with the leadership. What is your leadership style? Has it? I mean, definitely it's developed over the years, but
yes.
How have you?
I think your leadership style changes according, first of all, to your maturity and your experience. I was watching a movie the other day, and
a good one. Shall we watch it?
Yes, it's a series actually.
Okay.
And it says that nothing can beat experience.
It's true.
Nothing. And the experience is you're getting it also by making bad decisions. It's how you rectify a bad decision that will matter.
How you learn from it.
How you learn from it. And that's what is going to give you also more experience and more maturity. I remember when I was facing, I don't like to say the word problems, situations. Some years ago, I used to feel that I was choking, Whereas now, I know that I'm going to solve it.
Yeah.
So it gives you also more calmness, and you see things from a different angle because of experience, because of your maturity, your achievements sometimes, because they matter, they give you confidence, and so on. To do so, though, you need to have a good background. You need to have a solid academia. It will give you the basis in order to do all these that I aforementioned. What I see much different from, let's say, what I developed through the years is delegation. I used to be, I wanted to do everything.
Micromanaging.
Yeah, micromanaging. But that's also by experience, And
I think we've all been through that. Yeah.
And in our business, sometimes you don't realize.
Yeah. Especially this is what we just said at the beginning of the podcast. It sucks you in.
Vacuum.
You get so into it. Yes. You find yourself doing a rota for someone else because you're like, I'll just do it quicker than you can.
Yes,
or let me help do the menu. And then you'll
write it.
Yeah.
So now, like for example, you said the menu. Yes, okay.
And your background is F&B, so
I can read it.
Yeah.
And before, I wanted to write it as well. Now I just want to put a touch into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the difference.
Yeah, maturity.
Maturity, and especially the fact that you delegate. You delegate, and you feel confident about delegating.
Yeah.
You are more confident about empowering people, giving them chance.
I think you feel more comfortable in your own skin as well as you get older.
Exactly.
It's also, we were saying earlier about whether we're no longer at least as sexist as we used to be, but there still is we're quite an ageist society.
Yes.
So I think when you're quite young and you're in the industry, maybe in New York or somewhere else it's different, but definitely in Cyprus, people are like, who is this young kid here? You know, like, what do you know? And so you end up having to like really fight to prove your points and you want to do more. I don't know, at least that's what I found.
You know, what you just mentioned, again, going to our beginning of this podcast, when we talked about families, age.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes they feel that, and I have, like in my case, I have 9 years difference with my brother and 7 with my sister.
Yeah. So you were the baby?
Sort of.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I mean, the baby in the family. It's always, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I said sort of is because after a certain point, you don't like it.
Of course.
You know, I'm not a baby.
Yeah.
You know, don't treat me like
Yeah.
one.
My 3-year-old says it. So, I mean, imagine when you get older. Yeah, you're like...
But by, I think, human Cypriot nature, and I see it now with my siblings, because unfortunately I don't have kids. My brother has 3, my sister has 2.
And the youngest?
I was making a conversation, discussing something with both of them, and they mentioned both their eldest as the example, you know. And I told them, hold on. Why? Because the first thing that came into their mind is my sister here, her eldest daughter, and my brother, his eldest son.
Yeah.
You know, so age, and this is a very big...
and we love it here. I mean, I see 50-year-olds or 6-year-olds and their parents say tomorrow. You know, and you're like, okay, 1 minute,
My mother with I'm 50 years old, and you know, sometimes
here's my baby.
You know, she tells people he's my baby. It's Harry is my baby.
Oh, we do it out of all our love as mums. I tell my kids, you're always going to be my babies. So let's go on to funny stories. If I can interject and just say, one of the stories that I think there's several. Okay, there's just too many stories in our industry. We need like a whole podcast series to discuss all of them.
There are books about stories.
Yes, I know Hotel Babylon, remember? We both read it at the same time when it came out. But, oh my goodness, there's so many funny ones. But I remember one of yours, and I could not stop laughing, of a woman who was a repeat guest of yours. Bless her, obviously wasn't mentally stable, but repeatedly tried to kill herself.
Yes.
And you ended up calling her parents, and they said, just let her jump. And you didn't know what to do. And they were like, we're fed up. We've been having this all our lives. And I mean, you tell the story better than me, but I will always remember this story. We shouldn't laugh. It's awful. Yeah, it's awful. I mean, it's awful.
It's awful because eventually she did give an end to her life.
Oh, you see, that part I didn't know. I just remember all your team literally like, what are we going to do with this woman?
Even when she was going out, they used to call me at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, to send somebody and pick her up. It was...
poor lady.
Yes, poor lady, yes.
And there was another one with underwear being thrown everywhere? Or...
There was one that threw his girlfriend from the balcony on the 2nd floor. I don't know how she was still alive. They called me at, it was, I don't know, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Literally, they had a fight. She took a glass, threw at him. She cut him. Picked her up. I don't know how come. Threw her from the balcony.
Oh my goodness!
On the roof garden, which is grass.
She was lucky.
And that saved her life. So I went.
Well, and he would have been in.
But because we say this, I mean, threw her from the balcony, so
Crazy.
It's not a funny story.
No.
It is a funny story because the next day, they were so much in love. as nothing happened, and I was sitting there looking at them, and I said, you know, I almost had a heart attack.
Yeah,
because I could see going to the hotel. I was picturing the news. You know, a lady was thrown,
and a guy like being, you know, I don't know, manslaughter or you know, murder.
I didn't know whether they called the police or they didn't, or
oh my goodness,
you know, until I was actually there. So
and nothing was broken on her.
No, nothing.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
She had angels watching her.
Yes.
I mean, okay, we're laughing at some of these stories. It's not fair to laugh at
It's
some,
not-
but,
yes,
but in our industry, we see so many. We have to find humor in it all. Crazy. Oh my goodness. Okay, closing tradition.
We have
Oh.
I'll say another. I had one guy.
Yeah.
He used to send his father, a very good guest of ours. We're still friends. He used to send his father. He was about 80 years old, something like that. Anyway, this guy was very particular. He was he was drinking also a lot, but he wanted to go into the kitchen and cook his own food. He was putting the TV to the maximum because he couldn't hear very well. So all the rooms, the neighboring rooms were complaining.
Oh my goodness.
Then he was sometimes shouting. I took him out from the hotel plenty of times. And then he was coming back. He was begging his son to call me and tell me. I told him, I love you. I love your father, but I cannot handle him anymore. So after a couple of trials of sending, I think he came here also.
Oh,
once.
great. You sent him to us. Thanks, Harry.
And he was, no, he was booking himself,
Yeah.
but he knew it was either here or Meridian because he knew only this side of Limassol.
That's what we do when we don't want to guess. We pass them on to each other.
Part of Meridian, when it used to be Meridian. So anyway, he came back. Okay, we made a deal. You're not gonna do this. I had a person to take care of him 24/7. Also speaking, he was a Russian guy. And he came, he was going to go to the airport. He wanted me to drive him. I told him,
as if you're not busy enough.
No, I want you, please. He was begging. His son called me. Okay. I said that. Fair enough. I'm going to drive him.
This is going over above and beyond.
Yes. Next, we said, okay, 11 o'clock. We meet he was coming to my office and we leave. He came. He was wearing one jacket with all the war medals. He was Russian.
Okay.
Yes. All the... I said, where we want to go? Okay. He was... He was
losing it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So I said, okay, this is how he feels. He wants to be seen with his war medals. I take him to the airport. I drive him to the airport. I said, I'm going to help him to check in.
Yeah, to make sure he's okay.
I used to make sure also that when the drivers used to take him, I was also telling them make sure that he would check in. Because he was particular anyway. I didn't know.
Well, you might get him back as well for another week.
He starts, we are at the check-in counter, and he starts arguing in Russia that I couldn't understand, but I understand that the discussion is not going very well. There is something going on, conflict. The woman spoke also Greek. I told her, what's going on? Why are you arguing? She goes, he doesn't give me his passport. He wants to fly with his soldier's ID.
Oh, bless him, he was all.
Yes, that's why he got dressed.
Ready.
He wore his medals. He went to the counter and he gave her the
ID. He was reliving those years.
In the army, yes.
Oh.
Thanks.
So touching and moving.
That was a good, funny story for me because I couldn't
definitely
believe
an experience.
It.
And all of this is what we said. No day is ever the same. No guests are ever the same. People aren't the same. And really, hotels bring together all these people.
Yeah.
So, there's definitely no other industry like it.
It's like a melting pot.
So, bonus question. This is the last question of this podcast episode. Pick anything you want from this crystal ball. This is a team effort. So, one of our staff members put this together.
Okay.
And who knows? I'll read it for you. Maybe even one used to work for you. Who knows? They don't tell us who. So if... the English isn't so great. If not being say it nicer. If you were not a hotel employee, or in your case, a hotelier, I'll say, what else do you think you could be good at? Or where else do you think you could be happy is the question.
Okay. I mean, in which industry, in which field?
I guess,
Professionally?
where else do you think you could be happy professionally? If you didn't work in hotels, what would you do?
I
It's a
think
good
I'll
question.
be in trade.
What trade? You sound very Lebanese now.
Trade.
Import, export.
Import, export.
Everyone in Lebanon is import, export.
Something that will deal with trade. I don't know whether that would have been...
But what? Let's get more specific. Come on, Harry. Hit us with some good stuff.
I think I'm blocked. Imagine how much this industry dragged me in.
That's what I was going to say. Like, imagine,
blocked.
I'm sure other people have been asked this and they can think of something they wanted to be as a kid or could have been.
Yes.
And for you, that's it. This is your calling.
Yeah, I think so. You know,
You'd be
even
home.
when I said trade...
You'd be home calling your sister.
I said trade. I also, I related it with
hospitality.
Hospitality, yes.
Yeah.
And
This is it.
I said, what am I thinking now?
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
There you go. You were meant to be. You're meant
So
to be
let's
where
say
you are.
maybe if I was not working in the hotel industry, I would like to, let's say, trade anything that has to do with
Be
the
connected to
Yes.
it. You see, that's hotel talk for you. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it first here. This industry is the best industry to be in. It's exciting, it's fun. And if you are listening to this and you do want to come to Cyprus and specifically Limassol, it's an amazing town. You've just heard two hoteliers here who would be very happy to extend our warm welcome to you. So get in touch with either of us. And I wish you all the best, Harry, now and
Thank
forever.
you very much, Farah. It was a great pleasure being here. I didn't feel that it's a podcast. I felt that I am with a friend.
Yeah, we're just missing our whiskeys.
Chit chat, yes. And, I must say that I am very happy with what you have achieved so far. I'm very happy that I see you doing also a lot of other things. And this is bravos.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It means a lot.